Hello everyone, Happy New Year. Thank you everyone for coming to my stream. I am now streaming on Twitch, so go to istebrak.com if you want to attend Critique Hour. Critique Hour is every Tuesday and Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, and you just have to click on the little Twitch icon on my website, so istebrak.com. Click on the Twitch icon to join the live streams. If you want to join the community the live streams are based on, you go to the Reddit icon in the top right corner. This takes you to our Reddit, our subreddit. And this is where I picked everything that I'm going to critique today. So your piece might be next to be critiqued. Who am I to critique your work? Well, I'm a teacher that's been teaching for around 10 years. And I'm pretty good at critiquing people's art. I do it for free every Tuesday and Thursday for students who can't really pay for it. But my full-time job is to teach people how to get good. But I do run a free class every Tuesday and Thursday for anyone who's willing to attend. It's basically just providing something that me in my youth I didn't have, a resource to learn from, to be inspired from. In this class, we host sometimes community challenges, and community challenges are posted on the Reddit. Any changes, announcements, assignments, contests and sales are all announced through Reddit. They're announced everywhere else, but Reddit is pretty much the center of it all. So please make sure you're following on the subreddit and you're following on Twitch. And if you are looking for assignments, monthly assignments that help you develop a portfolio, so that at the end of the year you have 12 pieces to put into a portfolio. If you're someone who has issues figuring out what to do in order to just fill your portfolio with stuff, if you need some portfolio guidance, if you need a guide to your journey, you're self-taught, but you also would like a guide to keep you accountable and handing in work every month, you want a due date, you want a little bit of that assignment life, school life, but nothing too high commitment. You pretty much just left to your devices after I hand out the assignment on the Discord, the private apprentice Discord, and from there you do the work, you hand it in on the Discord, and I critique everyone at the end of the month, and I'm basically just guiding you along the changes you have to do to that assignment so that your portfolio is polished and top-notch, and it's good for all skill levels. There's no minimum or max skill cap or anything like that. I critique and I give what I can to those who join, and it's $20 a month for apprenticeship, but it's for those who are interested in education, but not necessarily so much that they want to enroll in private tutoring or enroll in really expensive classes. Those are in the like 1,000 or 500 bracket. So this is $20 a month for some assignments, rewards, my personal work. So you get all my personal work. You get a bunch of rewards like my brushes and PNGs and all of that, and PSDs, sorry, and then you get a video time lapse of the process with my commentary. So you get a lot of stuff for 20 bucks, but it's the apprenticeship. It's available for everyone. The reason I'm announcing it now, taking some time to announce it, is it's time. In the first assignment of the year is a diagnostics assignment. So I get to know the students that are involved in the apprenticeship. So if you want that diagnostics assignment, you have to join now in order to make it for the next critique hour for apprentices only. It's not live streamed. It's because there's not much I can do in the way of live stream anymore, because I don't do it through YouTube anymore, so I can't create a separate event and all of that. But it is recorded and sent to everyone once it's done. So let's get started for today. I'm going to start off the year by not so much illustration stuff, just fundamental stuff, just a portrait, what we're good at here. And I'm going to critique this portrait, talk about what the flaws are with it, what issues there are just by looking at it and seeing how much further we could push it. So what I did was I got rid of some of the blur around the face. I mean, blur the hair if you want, but don't blur the edge of the face. We still need that. I got rid of that weird detail around the eyebrows. I didn't even read like hair. Got rid of the lashes, and I blocked in some areas around the eyes, added some symmetry in the eyebrows. Got rid of some more blur on the edges of the temple. Blocked around the eye socket area, this little area here. And added shadow above the upper eyelid under the eyebrow, because that whole area is a cave, so why is it getting light? It makes no sense. It would not be getting any light. And then I blurred around the eyebrows. So very, very little steps, and making her look a lot more human, a lot more believable. And these are just the initial steps. Another thing I want to do is add a block for the lower eyelid, which is just adding that bit of size in the lower eyelid. So pretty eyes, the reason why some eyes look pretty is because they have a big lower eyelid. So if you've ever noticed those pretty actresses or babies, anything that looks cute or pretty has very, very large lower eyelid. Kind of as big or slightly less big than the upper eyelid. And I'm going to block the cheek area. And then I'm going to add a nice big block for the lower part of the nose. Okay, I'm going to add a block for the sides of the nose, because these are all parts of the highlights on the face. These are the highlighters. So I'm not sure if you used the reference. I'm not sure, you know, what your journey was for this particular piece. I usually don't have time to read every post, but I'm just getting rid of that excessive blur that you have everywhere. Ooh, too small. So look at how big my brush is on the outsides here. Very, very, very big. I don't want to do anything that includes a small brush on these outer areas. Another thing I'm going to do in a bit before I start, I actually really want to just get rid of her pupils, because I feel like you added them in this spot that makes her look a bit dead inside, because she's just kind of not focused anything. So when a model tilts her head down, she's instructed to then look up, because that adds two directions of movement, the downward look of the head and the upward look of the eyes, which adds that really, really nice, intriguing contrast between those two lines of movement. So making her looking up and focused while her head is tilted down is better than making her look down with eyes looking down. See how now she's engaging with the audience and actually looks interesting, because she's looking directly at us. Another thing, I'll do some more light tricks at the end, but for now this is pretty good for the eyes. But I do want to add a bit of a silhouette. Another thing I'm going to do are the dark spots of the face. Really, really important contrast markers. And they are the only spots in the face that are this black. All right, and I'm just going to add the center. I'm going to add the shadow of the upper pupil. And then I'm going to add the shadow, again, pigment, anything that comes in black, so hair, any kind of freckle or beauty mark, they can be as black as the dark spots. But the dark spots essentially are either pigmentation or a cavity, such as the nostrils, which are holes in the face, and the corners of the mouth, which are also holes in the face, or dimples in the face at the edge of the mouth. Alrighty, and then I'm going to just slowly radially drop the corners of the mouth into some shadow, because the edges of the mouth should not have any kind of glow or any kind of extreme highlight around them. They're dimpled. And I'm getting my smudge brush. So once I'm done blocking, and any student really, there's a lot to say about brushwork and technique, but this is the general rule. If you're a noob, stop trying to do painterly stuff. You're nowhere near gifted enough to do that yet. It's not an insult. You just need to understand that you have to spend time to earn it. And adding that level of understanding when you go into Painterly, the fundamentals, it makes your work that much more accurate, because Painterly isn't just about painting messy. Painterly is, I have no time, I'm going to paint something, but I have no time, but I still know fundamentals. That's how it's supposed to look. It's supposed to look like a professional had no time. So when you're a non-professional artist, you're pretty much just started, or you're on your 7th or 10th portrait ever, and you're trying to do a Painterly piece because you're inspired, you're browsing Instagram and you saw one. You're just then a noob who didn't have time. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, I'm pretty harsh. But that's really all it ends up looking like. It looks like a rushed job from a non-professional who had no time. So when you don't have time, what you do is you prioritize the fundamentals. You lay brushstrokes where they are most critical, for the core shadow, for the detail, for the highlight, for the expression. Everything is critical when you're doing brushstrokes with no time. And when a student who's too early in their journey tries to do a Painterly piece, where are they pulling that fundamental information from that they will do in little to no time? What are they prioritizing? The student that does a Painterly piece will prioritize in the same way they would have had they had time to do a non-Painterly piece, meaning they will prioritize the small brush, they will prioritize detail, they'll prioritize high contrast, they'll rush into the black too soon, they'll make noob mistakes. And how do you avoid noob mistakes? Subscribe to my YouTube channel. My videos are full of examples of noob mistakes, stuff you can easily avoid in the future. All right, so you're not skilled enough to do Painterly yet. Push it, push the polish, learn the fundamentals, smooth out the skin, find all core shadows, sharpen cast shadow edges, figure out the detail, perfect the symmetry, perfect the anatomy. Do not assume that you are ready for Painterly and that is something you went for. So that's why the chin didn't have a proper core shadow, or that's why the mouth didn't have proper radial shading. I'm gonna just blend out around here. And I'm just using my smudge brush, my number 2 smudge brush, number 4 smudge brush. I forget, I haven't memorized it. And honestly, learning about radial shading changed my life. There's really no other way to do it. Once you learn it, it's just hard to go back, because it's an automated blending experience. Alrighty, so I'm just laying down general construction. I still haven't made any major contrast changes. As you can see, things are still pretty generally gray. Alright, so I switched to the wrong brush, but that's okay. Darken, and I'm just going to now find some areas here that need a little bit of detail. Now that things have been smoothed out from a distance, I have really nice separation between the eye socket and the rest of the face. You can see how it's just a big black mark in the middle of 2 highlighters. That's good. That's healthy contrast. That's good. That's what we want to see. No highlighters yet, as you can see, no major highlights. Everything's just pretty neutral, pretty gray. It's a good place to start adding some detail. So I can shrink my brush safely. Some levels of detailing require shrinking your brush and adding highlighter at the same time. So there's also the ways that this comes from, the ways to detail. There's only so many ways to detail. One of the 3 ways to detail in grayscale are sharper edges, shrinking your brush and drawing with a small brush, and contrast, having black and white. So having black and white at the same time as shrinking your edges, that's a mega way to detail. You're creating some mega detail with that. Meaning that the reason why I'm not using contrast at the same time as shrinking my brush is that's too much power for a face that hasn't even had any real application of detail yet. It's still too early to give the artist wielding that much power. Those are late game power decisions, adding white to a small brush. You know, that's insanity to add. To try that right now, you'll just be confusing yourself, because some areas would be highly rendered, high read, and they would be, you know, fun to look at, and the artist would be proud of themselves, but they would not know how to catch up the rest of the face with that level of detail. I hope I haven't lost you, because that was a pretty complex concept I just described, but I hope you guys got the idea. All right, so I'm getting rid of some of your lines. I'm grabbing a slight highlighter, just something from the forehead for the waterline. Again, nothing too white. Look at the value on the color picker. And then I'm just smoothing some things out here. And then I'm going to get my soft brush on a new layer and just gently cast a shadow off the lash line onto the eye. Important shadow, very important. And then I'm just going to let a little bit of that shadow exit the eye, because you always want to create the illusion of detail without actually painting detail. You're basically a mesmer when it comes to detail. Everything is an illusion. Alrighty, fellow nerds? And then I'm just going to, now I'm dropping into contrast. Now I'm wielding a small brush with, I really am a nerd, and high pigment, high read. All right, take a look at that. And then I'm going to add a slightly, some of the decisions I make are because my brain has this anatomy in it now, because I've done this 1,000,001 times every time I've done a class or anything like that. Every painting I've ever painted, this is just mileage, anatomy that comes from mileage fueled anatomy knowledge. It's not, I'm making some of these decisions without even thinking. But if I had a reference, I'd be thinking, because then I'd have to figure out what the reference is saying and read it. And then another thing I'm going to do is just raise the background value as well, just so we could take a look at exactly how much, is my flux on? No. Just so we can take a look at exactly how much highlight we're going to need. So when you add the highlights on the face are a reflection of the light environment, the room the object is in. Write that back. The highlights are a reflection of the room. Highlights equals light environment. Presence of highlights means lots of light. Presence of sharp cast shadows means direct light. So you have to think about, okay, when I'm bringing these highlights in, I first have to reassociate everything to the right light environment, to the right room. So now I am blocking in all the areas I would like highlighted, but I'm blocking it in such a way where the skin ends up looking really vibrant and alive. So I'm actually radially blocking. I'm blocking a block within a block, so I can create that spike of highlight that makes skin look radiant. You see, this is all stuff. Look at this brush. It's full powered, full laser brush. It's too overpowered for something to be used early in the stages of the painting process. This is a smaller brush with lots of pigmentation. This is a dangerous trap for beginners. So make sure you are delaying all of that heavy stuff till later. I'm gonna give her some fangs. I'm joking, it's just the highlight. Can I give her some elf ears? One green eye, one blue eye. Just DeviantArt this whole portrait right up. And then what I'm going to do is I'm not going to blend away these highlight blocks I added. I'm only going to use my smudge brush here. And all my brushes can be found on my website, and they're on sale. And I'm only going to feather out the edges of each highlight. So some of the stickers that I'm going to make for, I was saying at the start of the stream, some of the stickers I'm going to make for subs on Twitch, which is just people who subscribe, will be a will be a shocked emoji for the before and after, because I know you guys want that one. There's going to be a bow one. It's optional, but I encourage it for the before and after. And anything else you guys recommend? Anything else you guys? It's fun. I want to have fun with it. Who knew Twitch became so much fun? Last time I used it, there was like nothing. There was just emojis and that was it, I think. So this should be fun. All right, so what I want to do is make her look even more focused at the camera, and the way to do that, so right now she looks like she's looking behind my ear. I want her to look like she's looking at me. I mean, behind my ear is also really cool because she's like looking behind us, but just so that I can teach you how to do it, to make her looking right at us, you just cross the eyes and cross them upward. Just make each eye looking at you and go from there. Obviously, this was done through the scope of my style and technique. The face may look a little different in the before, but just to show you how to make it look more present in the image. So do you see how, so before, after. So I just followed your pretty much just the features you had while adjusting them. Just pick a spot and I'll toggle the before and after, and you get to see the changes. Abuyus. Great. Oh god. So yes, that moment when you find chips where chip crumbs shouldn't be. Anyway, so before, after, pick a spot, the cast shadow of the nose, look at the edges of the face against the background. Also, I am in love with the actress for Yennefer Vengerberg, so possibly why she looks a little bit like her right now. And you could go back and blur the edges, so let me show you how to blur them without kind of overdoing it. All right, so filter, blur. Oh, well, that's overdoing it, definitely. So it's just a little blur. It's just a little push so that the edges are not in the way. Do you see the difference? They're not confusing high detail, bad lasso job edges anymore. They're there, but it's just a believable amount of lens blur. Before, after. Do you see how the eyes were before? You inverted, you added highlight on the top and darkened the lower half. They look like really bad eye contact lenses like the ones that everybody's wearing in The Witcher, which I can't. God, make them a little bit more believable. They look so cheap. They look so corny. In The Witcher, not in the pig. All right, look at the mouth cylinder. And if you wanted to make the lips a little bit more lipstick pigmented, you just literally have to brush a little bit of paint on top. Lipstick is dark because red is a dark value on the color picker. And that's all you need to do. You don't need to do anything else. Okie dokes. And you can see how some of the highlights that I have are a bit textured. That's okay, because in this case, flaws of the face, flaws of anything, even if you use high gloss paint on your wall, flaws are revealed when highlight. So it's okay to let a little bit of texture happen on a highlight. It makes things look a little bit more intriguing. But anyway, thank you everyone for coming today. If you're confused, if you're not sure what the hell is going on, what happened in the last hour, go to istebrak.com and click on the Reddit icon. This is where I grab stuff to critique. This is where I found today's before. Stuff is on sale here a lot on my website, I mean, so I announce it. Stuff is pinned here. Community challenges, meaning that I send out an assignment for everybody in the Reddit to do. Like we did one in the holidays. Before that, we did another one. And the one that's coming up is going to be narrative-based illustration, and I will send out the announcement for it. I'll even announce it here. But this is where everything is pinned. This is where everything is based off of. Please join us on the Reddit community. Then there is Twitch. Please make sure you guys are subscribed on Twitch. For those who are seeing the recording on YouTube, please make sure you go to the Twitch icon here on my website, so istebrak.com, and click on the Twitch icon to subscribe or to follow or to set up notifications so that you guys can be notified the next time I go live. As you can see, it's just a fun little educational experience open to all students every Tuesday and Thursday. I've done this for a very long time. I plan to keep doing it. And if you want to support me, you can even join as just $1 a month. It's just that, you know, it's very little amount, I know, but if everybody joins, it's actually a very high amount. It's a community-driven community. So, I mean, look at the Reddit. Like, there's nothing that I can do without your help. There wouldn't be a critique hour without people submitting work. So it's really community driven. And if you want to give back, if you enjoyed today's class, you can join on Patreon for $1. Thank you everyone for coming. I'll see you guys on Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern time. The schedule is on my Twitch page. And thank you everyone for coming. I know you guys could have been doing something else, but instead you came here and accompanied me in this, and I was pretty nervous for the first stream of the year on Twitch. All critique hours, so it's like a lot of pressure today. So thank you guys for sharing it with me. I'll see you guys on Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern time. Bye.